questions ready. Oh man, 10 seconds. Welcome to Solid Saturday.
Welcome, Dan.
What?
Welcome, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me once again, Ty.
With you, guest of honor, Dan Rubenstein, sir. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm pretty good. All things considered, Ty. I played tennis this morning and I played like dog shit. So I'm still reeling, but it's also rivalry weekend. We had a bunch of interesting, fun, bad performances after going up 21-9 yesterday games. But I can't complain, Ty. It's a college football Saturday. We've got huge matchups. I'm here with you. You look like you had a decent night's rest.
I had a good night's rest. It's been a whirlwind of 2 days here. Like I'm sure many of the people watching at home, you know, you're off seeing family, or you're hosting, or maybe you're doing a little bit of both, like in our case. And so, yeah, I was tired last night. I slept like a log.
Look at you. You're 40, as it says in your name right now.
And 40 and a man. Thank you, Dan. I'm
Yeah,
glad that you did that for me.
Of course.
No, I'm feeling good. I hope everybody out there had a good Thanksgiving. If you're here in the States and you celebrate, or if you're up in Canada and you celebrate a month early, whatever the deal is. Thank you so much for stopping on by. We've got all the links that you need down below. We would encourage everybody, please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. All that stuff helps us, whether it's a review or a subscription. Subscribe to this here YouTube channel. We're doing our part to try and build up the YouTube channel and do more here. Hence the reason we've been doing this for the last however many Saturdays now, Dan. What else did I forget? Solidgiveaway.com if you want to enter for your chance to win an RG3 signed mini helmet. And of course, the reverb line, which I think is ever so important on a day like today. The reverb line is 408 Verbal 1. I know a lot of people watching this are probably longtime Solid Verbal fans, but if you're new and you're wondering, what is the reverb line? 408 Verbal 1. It's a phone line. It's free. You can call and leave us a voice message. Late tonight / early tomorrow morning, we'll cut those together into a segment that will play on our week 13 / rivalry week recap show. It's about 3.5, 4 minutes. It's the most fun thing that we do during the season, bringing some fans into the fold, Dan. So
yeah, who do we want to call in?
Everybody.
Come on.
Everybody call on in.
Yeah.
Solid Verbal reverb line at 408 Verbal 1.
I agree.
That's my spiel. That is my spiel, Dan.
All right. As always, we are looking at the specific windows of the college football day. Obviously, this is kind of a different day because we had the Egg Bowl Thursday. We had a bunch of rivalry matchups and interesting games yesterday, Friday. So our windows are made up of fewer interesting games than usual. I actually only put 4 games. Usually I'm putting 5 games in each, but I only put 4 games in the night window. And we review those windows on a scale of 1 through 5. There's that man, specifically jacked Fowlers, as in jacked Chris Fowlers. How jacked of a Chris Fowler situation is each window? And those are the 5 jacked Chris Fowlers that you see down below. And we got some bangers, Ty. We absolutely have some banger games.
Oh,
so
man. I'm fired up. I am so fired up for this today.
Do you want to, before we get into things, is there anything you want to review about the last 2 days? Any thoughts, stray thoughts that you want to get off your chest about Ole Miss looking clearly like the better team eventually against Mississippi State on the road in Starkville? Anything about the end of NC State, North Carolina? Anything about, Iowa coming back in just excruciating, painful fashion to beat Nebraska after Logan Smothers had something like 18, 17 yards per attempt at one point?
Yeah. I saw just on the ESPN crawl at the bottom that Nebraska's 9 losses by single digits is the most of any team since 1936.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough year for Nebraska. They gave up 22 unanswered points, I think, in like the final 20 minutes of gameplay to lose that game, the Heroes Trophy game
Yep.
yesterday. So that's a bummer for them, but much more of the same if you've been following Nebraska football, unfortunately. The NC State game was awesome. That was a good game.
It was.
Devin Leary continued the torrid pace that he's been on the entire last 3 quarters of the season. 4 touchdowns, no picks. They win late 34-30. The Ole Miss game, Ole Miss just looked better. I don't know if I have any controversial thoughts there, but I thought they very much looked the part, looked a lot better. Cincinnati looked good, just kind of cruising along here. Des Ridder at 2 picks, which not ideal, but
Not ideal.
Got the job done. They finished 12-0, so congrats to them. Wazoo last night just ran it up on Washington. Welcome to the game.
Rushed an opposing field.
Rushed the field.
Rushed an opposing field in Seattle, and Wazoo in position with an Oregon loss, I believe, to now win the conference.
Crazy. Jake Dickert has done an amazing job.
Yes.
On an interim basis after Nick Rolovich got fired earlier in the year. And I don't know, welcome to college football, Sam Heward. 4 interceptions. Didn't look too good.
Not great.
Yeah.
It is not an offense and a coaching situation ideal for a true freshman future of the quarterback. Prodigious talent, the savior of the program to come in and succeed against what has been a pretty good Wazoo defense, all things considered. So, yeah, that was certainly rough. Utah got the job done against Colorado and sets themselves up. I mean, they had already clinched the South, but sets themselves up with a nice rhythm against somebody in the North next week in Vegas. And I think they're actually playing on a Saturday, not a Friday this year. So that's a thing that's happening in a week. And I'm trying to think of any other results from yesterday or obviously the day before that resonate with you before we get into some of our windows and our action.
Yeah, I mean, the only other stuff that resonates at this point is the coaching carousel, which continues
that's
to
true.
spin.
We have news.
We had just a whole bunch of news coming out on that front. It seems as if many of the big names who could potentially be candidates to move are going to stay put. Those being James Franklin. I saw Dave Aranda went on, I don't know if it was on the record or if it was just a comment.
No, it was an interview. Yeah.
Yeah. He said basically, in certain terms, he's not leaving Baylor.
Correct.
I know they're working on something for Mel Tucker. I don't think that's been official yet, but that seems like that's probably in the queue. It'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. That being said, Sonny Dykes is going to be the new coach at TCU, which isn't a great surprise. And Rhett Lashley is going to be the new guy at SMU. I don't know if there's any other coaching news at time of recording here, Dan, but a lot going on in the coaching world. And my hunch is that before long, we're going to hear a lot more about it, given the fact that this is basically the final week of the regular season for most teams.
A lot of plan L's, a lot of plan J's coming to fruition because as we talked about before, it is our viewpoint that while it's certainly intriguing and makes for good talking and it makes for good mystery about, oh my God, this major coach is leaving this major place for this major place. That's all fun and good. But the fact remains, the best job is the Power 5 job you're already successful at. If you can leverage your interests elsewhere into facilities, into coaching pool, into more recruiting budget,
100%.
into more staff.
100%.
And look, there are certain guys who are just masters of that, James Franklin, right? There are certain guys who are able to do it and not necessarily match the interest with on-field results all the time. 92nd ranked offense in the country. But I mean, the pain of, taking your family, the pain of starting over, of hiring, of figuring out, it's a pain. Starting from scratch is a pain, which is why I think this is going to be kind of the new normal as we get into the games today. And I don't know if there are specific names to pay attention to who are coaching in big spots, who are potentially moving on up. I saw Fresno State's comfortable win over, who was it, San Jose State, 40-9 or something like that.
Kalen DeBoer could be a candidate.
At Washington, sure. That ties two of our talking points together, but it's fascinating, and I think we need to get to windows. What do you think about that?
Play it.
Oh, you love it.
It's grown on me. Okay, Here we go. Big boy game here.
Yes.
Ohio State at Michigan, 12 p.m. on Fox. Gus is going to be all kinds of sauced up for that one. And I don't mean that he's been drinking. I don't mean
easy,
that.
Ty. Come on. Implications.
But Gus Johnson's going to be fired up for that game.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Sunshine Showdown, Florida State at Florida, Wake Forest at Boston College, Texas Tech at Baylor, Georgia at Georgia Tech for the clean, old-fashioned hate game. So look, obviously Ohio State, Michigan. Listen, Ohio State, Michigan, far and away the headliner here. There are other interesting matchups, but let's start with Ohio State, Michigan, Dan. Point spread here has jumped around a little bit. It's about 7 in that little hook, 7.5, 8, 8.5 earlier in the week. You and I both were on the side of Michigan here. Not necessarily to win, but to keep it close enough. I think we both had faith in the defense here to find a way to keep this close, especially the fact that the game's in Michigan.
Correct.
Has anything happened over the last, 72 hours since we recorded that has caused you to change your mind, or are you still on Michigan plus the points?
Oh, man. I went to Thanksgiving with a bunch of Michigan and Michigan State fans, and I just, how you feeling? How you feeling? And then the more I thought about it, and I'm sticking with my pick. I'm not going to switch my pick a couple minutes before kickoff of Michigan covering this one, because situationally, I still think it's ideal. And I've done my terrible accent before. Remember my bad Mainer, who's been somebody from Maine. Okay.
Oh,
the old sea captain who's seen everything and is just looking up to the skies. Oh, there's a storm coming. Oh, there's a storm. Maybe it's a Cajun. It's a terrible accent. I admit that. Oh, sure. I think there might be a storm coming. I hate it. I hate for it to happen in a game of this magnitude between teams ranked as highly as these two teams are. But part of me thinks there's a storm coming.
So to that point, Dan.
Yeah.
The betting app that I use has certain boosts that you can play if you want to. And it's usually like a money line parlay, a couple games. And today they had one, Penn State money line, which looks like Michigan State's got some flu problems on both sides of the ball. That's why the point spread has tilted so heavily in favor of Penn State. But you could get a 3-way money line parlay on Penn State outright, Alabama outright, and Ohio State outright at 2.5 to 1. Just pretty decent.
Not terrible.
I'm not doing it. I'm a little worried about that Ohio State game. It's just the fact that the point spread is so low has freaked me out a little bit. In the Michigan State game, the point spread was 21. Vegas knew that was potentially going to be a runaway train.
Did you read the Pete Thamel piece? I think it was Pete Thamel. It was Yahoo anyway. Talking to coaches who have played Michigan this year and for their evaluation on how Michigan has improved so dramatically from where they were the last couple years, especially on offense. Did you see that piece at all?
I did not.
All these coaches were very specific, okay, they've gotten back to the really challenging ways in which they run the ball, right? The power stuff that Jim Harbaugh did out of Stanford, but they're doing a better job of disguising it. And on defense, right, they've got these great defensive end and Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson, and they're not all or nothing anymore. They're, Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator, does a really good job of zeroing in on what you're trying to do well and taking that away. All really complimentary. And they had some negative things to say that the defensive coordinator has been bad at substituting and teams have played tempo against him. So Aiden Hutchinson's been off the field or whatever. But all these compliments, right, about Michigan and the steps that they've taken to really focus on an identity and how they've succeeded in doing that. And then at the end of the piece, they're all like, oh, Ohio State's going to beat them soundly. Ohio State's going to, they just don't have a quarterback. Oh, yeah. That was the conclusion at the end of that. They're like, what Michigan done is impressive, but Cade McNamara is not scoring 42 points against Ohio State and not leading an offense to that, as many points as will need to happen to beat Ohio State. Yeah. And so that troubles me. And I know coaches aren't always right, but there was kind of like a strange consensus there. I was like, oh, there's a storm coming.
There's a storm coming. Yeah. Flash up that window one more time.
I assume just the games, not the video of
that's
Microsoft executives. Yeah.
So Florida State at Florida. We're both on Florida State there,
right? We are. I think this also has the more I think about it, Ty. And this is a new segment I'm trying out right here. Is this the game in this window that we are due for the most Dvorak? Right? Just the like punt, downs, fumble, interception, downs, punt. Like that is, there's a high probability.
There's a very strong likelihood in that football game. Florida could also be the 1-2-3 Cancun team of the week.
Oh, they already are there. They're in their minds and in their hearts. They're sipping pina coladas.
Florida State is our pick here. Wake at BC, I think will be a good game. We're both on Wake, but I saw Clemson officially eliminated from ACC title contention.
With the NC State win, yeah.
With the NC State win last night, it was always a bit of a long shot, but at the same time, kind of a momentous moment, being this how Clemson's been so good over the last 6 years, the ACC. Tech at Baylor.
By the way, that a Wake win gets them the Atlantic. Yeah,
Wake win gets them the Atlantic. Thank you. Baylor at Tech. I think Baylor takes care of business there, and Georgia favored by 35 in the clean old-fashioned hate game. I would have been inclined to say, Tech can be a little plucky. And then I saw them against Notre Dame where they got drilled, and it's like, if they got drilled that badly against Notre Dame, we can only imagine what's going to happen against Georgia.
Yeah, there is a certain amount of hopelessness at times, even with some talented dudes on offense. But if quarterback play is not there, even at an average level, this Georgia Tech team can get demolished. And Notre Dame has not been a team. I know they've improved over the back half of the season, but Georgia's, I think, is their nearest win 24 points since that Clemson win. I think that's the magnitude. The closest a team has gotten since that. Maybe you can look that up. Maybe somebody can fact check us in the comments. I think it's 24. So what are they going to do against Georgia Tech? Fully focused and locked in ahead of the SEC championship game? It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Absolutely. All right. So we've got 4 jacked Fowlers tied with 10 jacked Fowlers.
Wait, 4 is tied with 10?
I just made it 10.
Oh, okay. 10 out of 5?
The game is a top 5 matchup this year. How can it not be 10? So I'm at a 5. All right. I know the scale only goes up to 5. Wow. I'm at a 5. I'm fired up.
Okay.
I'm fired up. Where are you at here?
I'm fine with 5. I think this is a great slate of football. I don't need to shy away from enthusiasm. I'm with it, Ty. 5 Jack Fowlers.
5 Jack Fowlers.
They're calling, I believe, Bedlam tonight, Fowler and Herb Street. They were in Ann Arbor and are going over to Stillwater later, which is where I also believe we got the mini earthquake that resulted in Kirk Herbstreit making that face. To be fair, we all would. If we were up in a booth in the middle of Oklahoma and there was an earthquake arrived out of nowhere, shaking the booth, we would have gotten that. So, all right, return to the scene of the eye bulge.
Give me some comments, Dan.
Let's get into some comments. Why not? Yeah. We got a lot of them. The early slate is the game and a bunch of mehness. Connor, I know you're probably full of tryptophan and bad vibes because that's what happens sometimes during Thanksgiving. Doesn't matter. We're getting the game and we're getting all sorts of fun. I don't care. I don't even care. Call me crazy. Richardson won't make for a dull game. Right. Anthony Richardson. I saw Emory Jones was then cleared. I don't know what his current status is. He was ruled out and then he had practiced.
And then unout. Yeah.
I don't know what his usage is going to be. Florida State beats Florida bad. Woodward might poach Norvell. LOL. Not a bad idea. Kind of a bad idea. I kind of miss Florida State and Florida having national championship implications. So do I, Ty.
Yeah, man. So do I.
I watched an old clip of, I think Keith Jackson actually called one of their games where it was just like from 3 weeks out, and the way that Alabama and Georgia, we were just like, that's what we're honing in on. That's what it all is going to come down to. And that's obviously a pre-playoff situation. I just expect TreVeyon Henderson to have a big game, according to Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Okay, so if Michigan takes away the aerial assault somehow, then lanes perhaps available for TreVeyon Henderson. I asked my wife's uncle, who's a huge Michigan fan. I was like, what are you hoping for here? What is the rhythm you're hoping for? What are the conditions in which whether it's weather, whether it's personnel, whether it's strategy, that Michigan wins this game? Because all these Michigan fans they're all beaten down from all these years of destruction. and he says, "We need a gale force wind, the likes of which Ann Arbor has not seen in quite some time." So that's where Michigan fans, according to Uncle Jeff, are at right
Uncle
now.
Jeff, the authority.
Yes. Yeah, Michigan State, to your point, has 20+ players affected by the flu.
Yeah.
That's a
That
lot.
point spread jumped. I think when we did our preview show, Penn State might have been favored by 1. Initially, it was like a pick 'em. And at least before we went on the air here, I think it jumped all the way up to 4.5, 5.
It's wild. DJ Hokie, my favorite DJ. Need me a cheer me up. Need me a cheer up from yesterday's K-State game. It was a quintessential Will Howard game. And I include the touchdown I think he ran in from midfield, called back for holding. Texas holding on, despite the universe doing everything it could.
It's true.
Texas ending the losing streak and coming away with a W. I was over at my brother-in-law's yesterday, and he went to Texas. I'm just using one person in my family to explain fandom for each team, and he didn't watch it. He just said, "Let's just assume they lose and let's have fun. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
It's better that way. It's Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Should I worry about West Virginia losing to Kansas and missing a bowl game? Seems like a perfect letdown game.
Don't not worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel pretty good about anybody's chances against Kansas.
Yeah.
But Kansas plays hard.
A little frisky.
They will be playing hard. They are a little frisky.
I think it's Jalen Daniels who's been playing well at quarterback. Poor Nebraska, man, I feel sorry for them. I'm seeing tweets. I'm seeing the Bill Connollys of the world, our pal, our bud,
our boy,
saying best 3-9 team ever, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
You don't feel that way.
Bad. No. Nebraska's a bad football team. These are the things that, they're not a good football team that finds ways to lose. That's what bad teams do, okay? That is what defines bad football teams. And you can say, well, they have a decent defense and, they are able to make plays on offense, but they're not. That's what bad teams do. Those are the hallmarks of bad teams. You can eat a plate of spoiled food that looks marvelous. It's going to give you food poisoning no matter how good it looks, and that is always a net negative. So that's it.
Where did this Logan Smothers guy come from, by the way?
I know. Great name.
Not
a big arm.
No.
That's okay.
He's from
what you're working with.
Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Okay.
Logan Smothers. Just so much to work with there phonetically.
Muscle Shoals, a classic rock hotbed of recording. There's a classic studio down there that a lot of big bands recorded classic legendary records in. Any other comments? You want to get to another window? We got a lot of them coming in.
Let's go to the next window, Dan.
Okay. That's why they keep losing close games, because they're bad. Next window. Here we go. Ty, we've got afternooners.
Pumpkin
pie for you.
Yeah, Iron Bowl. Number 3, Bama at Auburn. Auburn without Bo Nix, starting TJ Finley. Oregon State, Oregon, henceforth known as the Platypus Cup on this here show.
Correct.
Penn State at the flu-ridden Michigan State Spartans.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin at Minnesota for Paul Bunyan's Axe. And then Virginia Tech at Virginia for the Commonwealth Cup, Dan. So, obviously the top line here is Bama, Auburn. It's the Iron Bowl, right?
Sure.
Point spread, though, is 3 touchdowns. I think we know. Is that pumpkin pie, by the way? Did you put pumpkin pie in there for me?
Pumpkin pie. Of course,
you're too much. You are too much.
We'll get to our Thanksgiving and food discussions at the end. Still yet to have pumpkin pie this weekend, which is an insane thing.
Come on, Dan.
Wasn't up to me. It was. We'll get to it. Continue.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I am most looking forward to the Wisconsin-Minnesota game in this window.
Mm-hmm.
Of these 3, I am most looking forward to Wisconsin-Minnesota. That may be influenced by the fact that I have money on Wisconsin, let's be honest.
Okay.
The show about honesty.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. The Penn State-Michigan State thing sucks that Michigan State's got a bunch of guys out.
Yeah, so short.
Good for Penn State to get a win, but sucks for Michigan State. They've had a great year. They'll go to a bowl game. They'll surprise some team from the SEC or whatever.
Buddy, buddy, don't just hand this W to Penn State.
Oh no, I'm saying
this is a team that can lose this game.
Oh, this is absolutely a team that can lose this game.
Yes.
But I like Penn State before I heard about the flu.
Okay.
Oregon State, Oregon. Talk me through it. Line is 7.5 in favor of the Oregon Ducks, who were on Oregon State when we did our recap.
Yeah.
Preview show, excuse me.
This could go in a number of directions. I don't think there is going to be anything routine about this game. This could go 3 points either way, or Oregon could win by 35. Okay. Now, I was told one of the things that I think I didn't realize, that I know a lot of people didn't realize, Joe Moore had an extremely serious medical situation and rushed back afterwards. Something that would sideline us. We wouldn't even record a podcast in the days and weeks coming after what he went through, apparently. And I've heard he hasn't even been at practice all the time just because it's a load. And so apparently, he's been feeling healthier. He's been feeling better and better and better. And so Oregon's offense, allegedly one of those like, oh, practice has never been better. These guys understand what it's like to get back to work after being knocked down like they were against Utah. To me, I have Oregon winning this game by single digits. I think Oregon State is a solid team with a coach who is unafraid, who calls a smart game on offense. They have a strong offensive line. They run the hell out of the ball. They've got a good running back in BJ Baylor. Not great on the road, but Oregon not all that great at home. I think Oregon shows out. I really do think Oregon shows out and wins this game and doesn't do stupid things, doesn't throw stupid picks, doesn't have stupid fumbles, special teams miscues like right before the half against Utah. But I know I can be very wrong about the Oregon Ducks. So I have them winning by single digits. That's sort of meeting in the middle of my Venn diagram of possibilities. I think talent wins out in these situations because the Rose Bowl is still very much in play. A top 10 finish, winning the conference for the third straight season, all in play, all meaningful, all matters. It's a rivalry game. I've got Oregon winning.
Yeah, I saw Jonathan Smith got a contract extension as well.
Well deserved.
Much deserved for Jonathan Smith. He's been a very good coach. That game will be very intriguing. We could talk quickly about Alabama Auburn.
Sure.
Is it fair to just write off Auburn? Is that a fair thing to do at this point?
It's not fully fair just because it's the Iron Bowl, and as Nick Saban pointed out, I don't know if you saw that viral clip this week.
I saw it.
Like, it's not fair to our players, he's not wrong about. Everybody's going to give Alabama their best shot. And Auburn's best shot, and TJ Finley playing to his best ability and really locking in and getting the most out of the receivers. I think the Auburn offensive line has improved over the course of the season. They've got good backs. They've got a defense that has made plays at time, especially in the secondary. Still think they're 2 touchdowns worse. Fully locked in, fully playing to the best of their ability. They could cover. Alabama has not been a team that, from a wagering perspective, has been dependable covering these bigger lines this year. But it's hard to construct that Auburn win, especially how much of a bummer it is with Bo Nix out and really looking like he was taking a step forward this year. At times, we don't need to rewatch the Texas A&M game. So that's the bummer here, that Alabama's secondary, there are lanes, there are windows to throw into. I don't see it with Auburn. So I don't know about covering, but I think this is a comfortable double-digit win for the Tide.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just going to harken back to what I said at the top of the show here.
Please.
Whenever I see one of those promotional boosts on the betting app where they're parlaying together, together Penn State, Ohio State, and Alabama. You get 2.5 to 1 if all 3 win. The obvious one to lose there would probably be Penn State.
Right.
I would bet anything it's one of the others if it happens. It's just the way these things were. It's a weird, like, supernatural thing and an occult force of gambling. I don't know, but the computers have figured something out here that the rest of us haven't. And I would not at all want to bet on Auburn winning. I would not really want to bet on Michigan winning outright either. Right. But there's just a reason that they group those teams together.
Who has a better shot? Michigan against Ohio State?
It's Michigan. No, it's Michigan. It's definitely Michigan because of their defense. They're just, I think, a more solid team at this point. They're not playing with a backup quarterback.
Right.
But we say that Alabama lost and they were about a 20-point favorite earlier in the year against A&M. Sure. A&M's a better team. A&M had a better defense. They had more weapons on offense. It's really apples to oranges. But I don't know. In a weird year already, I don't think we're out of the woods from a chaos standpoint. And so while I agree that Alabama should win that one by 2 touchdowns, I don't know if they cover.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what's the difference between Zach Calzada, and a TJ Finley exactly, right?
Yeah,
Strong
no,
arms, looking to make plays downfield all the time, some bad decision making. Now
I
the
am not
difference
saying they're going to upset them. I am
No, I
not
know.
saying that.
All
But
I'm saying is the Calzada Armada had the defense behind him and
exactly.
special teams. Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. I have the poll running here. I'm going to end the poll.
Oh,
see
how
where
many?
our-
What are we talking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much at a constant 4 Jack Fowler for all of today.
Standing at attention with 4. Okay. A strong
Yeah,
4.
it looks like our community has also gone 4 Jack Fowlers.
Let me look at this window again. I'm okay with 4. I'm okay. I mean, the games have implications. I mean, Penn State has already signed James Franklin. Presumably, the ink has dried on that one. Losing to a flu-ridden Michigan State team would definitely suck some of the air out of that. But Wisconsin, Minnesota has promised that's for the Axe, right? Paul Bunyan's
For the Axe. I said that was the game I was most intrigued by.
Yeah. Why
I didn't
is
even
that?
talk about it. I just think Wisconsin's gotten better.
Sure.
And like I told you on the podcast earlier in the week, click on the link down below if you want to find out more about the podcast.
Right.
I haven't picked a Minnesota game right in like 3 years. And so my inclination would be to go Minnesota at home in a rivalry, especially against a team like Wisconsin that doesn't have much of an offense. So I went the other way. I'm going to go Wisconsin, on Wisconsin.
Sure.
Braylon Allen, 17-year-old, running like a mad banshee. Defense, Wisconsin -6.5. You'll see it on the slide in a little bit here, but that's one of my locks of the week.
Sure. Are you familiar with the sloppy steak phenomenon? Do you know what sloppy steak is?
You're going to have to remind me.
I've never mentioned it on the show. It's from the Tim Robinson show. I Think You Should Leave, the very strange and hilarious Netflix sketch comedy show where they just do a silly thing called sloppy steaks where they pour water all over sliced steak and they think it's a hilarious prank on the restaurant as they eat watered down steak. I'm wondering if Wisconsin can be the water on the Ohio State sloppy steak.
I
Can
mean,
they just make it
it's an
disgusting
angle.
place?
It's an angle unique to you. I'll give you that.
And we get a Big Ten championship sloppy steak is all I'm asking you.
I think we could.
Okay. You think Wisconsin could be the poured pitcher of water on beautiful sliced, ribeyes?
God, that's such weird construction. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that.
Everybody,
Just playing all
build
the
it brick
sounds
by
there.
brick. I build these analogies brick by brick.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, not only about this game today for Ohio State, but potentially that Wisconsin game, is the defense.
Mhm.
Ohio State against better defenses has not been as electric. They've still been good. They're great, but
Sure.
I don't know. It's just something to consider. Anyway, shall we do comments here?
Let's get into comments. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Emerging Alpha, J Rockstar, 999. Have a sneaky feeling.
That's what I'm
Auburn-
talking about.
Sneaky feeling Auburn keeps it close, but you have to construct it for me.
I can't construct it for you.
You have to tell me
I can't.
how
I can't do
Auburn
it.
makes this brick by brick a game.
I can't. I can't do it.
Well, then what is the basis of your sneaky feeling?
Dan, sometimes you just gotta go from right here, right in the gut. See, which Nick Cage is this? This is a stressed Nick Cage. I don't know if you can see him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go from the gut sometimes.
Right.
On rivalry week, you got to throw those records out. You know how it works.
DBJ, is that an I'm a man mustache coming in for Ty? Here's the thing, folks. Ty can clearly grow an amazing mustache and chooses not to. I can't.
I
Look at
choose
this
not
nonsense. I get like
Get closer to the
decent
camera. I
scruff.
can't see it.
I get decent scruff. I'm a little out of focus. Decent scruff.
Do you ever go straight edge over
No,
your whole
I'm
face?
only beard trimmer. I will sometimes do the straight razor down here and just keep my neck really clean. My
Really?
lady likes me
See,
smooth.
I would think you'd want
Yeah.
to go electric on the neck because that's where you can get the most irritation.
No, I like how I look and I like the feel of this when I'm curious about things. I don't want smooth. I want to go through the rough patch.
Okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
Let me pause it right there.
Okay.
How does Jody with an I feel about the quote unquote rough patch?
She's fine with it. I will irritate my children's cheeks. They have sensitive skin because I wrestle with them.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. I have to say, at 60V, the production value on these videos is astronomically high. Whoa. Getting tingles. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dan. The Ducks
Yep,
are going down, according to Aggie Jason. Totally in the realm of possibility. I can't argue anything too super strongly against it. In these specific situations, in these matchups, if Oregon is motivated, talent wins. If Oregon is motivated, it's one of those situations where talent is going to win. It's going to come at waves. And if Oregon takes something crucial away, if Oregon is pretty good against the run for Oregon State, I don't think Chance Nolan's all that amazing. And on the road, they haven't been good in this kind of environment where these are the types of games where a motivated team is too much, too fast, too strong, too good sideline to sideline. If they're motivated. Anybody else jumping out to you in terms of comments, Ty? How about Shay?
Got him up. I'm hearing myself. I don't know why I'm hearing myself a little bit here.
How do you sound?
I sound delightful, but I'm hearing a little bit of an echo for some odd reason. Now it's gone. Okay.
You want me to teach you how audio works?
Shay Dougal. Wisconsin has kind of looked like the same team all year to me. They just happen to play their toughest games at the beginning of the year. That is a very important point. It's a very important point.
Yeah. Okay, look. I think any team with reasonable health is going to improve over the course of the season. That is coached well. They're going to correct mistakes. And it's a new look offensive line. You know, they start Chaz Surratt early on in the season at running back, and they were never going to be all that good at receiver. The defense.
You say Chaz Surratt?
Did I say Chaz Surratt? Chaz Malusi? Ches Malusi?
I'm fine with Chaz Surratt if I'm going to bring him back.
You expect me to keep those guys straight?
Too many Chazes, yeah.
I think it's fair to say Wisconsin has improved and their schedule has gotten easier, because if they were exhibiting the similar symptoms against the latter teams as they were against the former teams on their schedule, they would win relatively comfortably, but they're not winning 52-3, right? They would win 27-10. Like if they were a deeply flawed offense in the way that they were early. So I do think that they've improved. You're right, though. The opponents have looked quite different than, Notre Dame and Michigan, Penn State, whatever. And all of those defenses have proven themselves to be good over the course of the season. But I think it's okay to give Wisconsin credit for winning in the way that they have, because a lot of us root for teams that don't take care of business, even in winning efforts, and Wisconsin really has. So I tip my cap. I think they have improved, especially
it's a good question.
It's
a good question. Yeah. Thank you, Shay.
Totally good question. I'm trying. Oh, we got a lot of comments coming in here. I'm just coming in here to note that Ricky Ronnie led the ODU Monarchs. They can become. There were no dashes in here. ODU can win a game today and go to a bowl game. That's pretty good.
It's really good considering the fact that Ricky Ronnie took the job and then didn't get the coach for a full year because they didn't play in 2020 at all. And I remember first game of the year, I forget who it was against, but I remember that was one of the games that we talked about just from a wagering standpoint. Like, you got to bet against ODU. They haven't played football in a year and a half.
Sure.
And they got drilled, but they pulled it together. So credit to Ricky Ronnie for doing a good job at ODU. Yeah.
Sneaky feeling Saturday. That's not bad.
What did we go? We said surprise party
Saturday. Like, somebody is going to have a ridiculous locker room celebration, right? Michigan, Auburn, somebody ridiculous. Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Georgia Tech, but somebody
in the locker room. Yeah, I like sneaky whatever Saturday. I mean, like, if it were, it doesn't quite rise to the creative bar to say sneaky Saturday.
Right.
Not on this show, maybe for ESPN, maybe for Stu Mandel. I don't know. Yeah, but sneaky something, I think, is really the vibe that I'm feeling.
Surreptitious sauce Saturday.
Sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty good, though. That's pretty good. Wisconsin just bought fancy shirts. That's why they're winning $1,000 out the door.
All caps,
that is a reference. That is a reference to I Think You Should Leave as well. You really should watch it. Don't watch it with Kate.
I tried it. Just,
Solo or with Kate?
Both.
Really? You did?
I feel like it's got to be. I will try it again. I did not give it its fair due.
All right, get some of that Oreo going, Ty.
Your
I think you should.
your suggestions have been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'll give it another shot. Maybe I was just in the wrong mood at the time. Is it a mood-based thing? Do you need to be in the right mood, or is it just always funny?
Yeah, you just need to be open to silliness, Ty.
Okay.
You don't need to be
All
taking
right.
things so seriously.
You know me.
That's you, Mr. Serious, growing that mustache with that
Yep.
hirsute Italian genetics of yours.
And I turned 40. I got the salt and pepper thing going on down here. I don't know what your beard's like.
I think it looks great. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets salty down here.
So you got 2 kids. So you probably had the salt and pepper before me, but I just feel like in the last year or so, it's just, I'm going like full Santa down here.
Is that true?
Oh, it's
full Santa?
I can't, I'll send you extreme close-ups. Not full Santa, but like full Santa for me. I'll send you an extreme close-up later today. You'll get some pictures of my chin.
I would love that. What are you doing for lunch? What are you doing for dinner? Any good food on deck?
Turkey leftovers.
All right. I don't have any leftovers.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself the Thanksgiving I want next weekend for conference championship weekend. You hear me? I'm making myself a bomb turkey sandwich and my stuffing and my broccoli casserole. I'm going to pick up some pumpkin pie from the random supermarket. I'm going to love it. Okay. Do you want to get into night windows, or do you want to take a break and talk to Travis? Do you want to do night windows real quick?
Why don't we do night windows real quick? Then we'll bring Travis
let's do night windows real quick. I'm going bowling, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper Saturday. Thank you, Brian. I wish I had the sound drop. Now make me want to shoot. Okay. Hit me.
A&M at LSU on ESPN. Look, the big in here is Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And I think we have Oklahoma at Oklahoma on the graphic.
The state is implied. Continue.
The state is implied.
Yeah.
It is true bedlam when Oklahoma plays itself, for sure.
Some would argue the Pokes are Oklahoma's one true team, so they're just Oklahoma.
They don't need that extra qualifier at the end. I agree. Correct. Clemson at South Carolina. Clemson going to be one of my locks of the week that I'll play here for you, or show for you momentarily. And then Kentucky at Louisville. They play for the Governor's Cup, Dan.
I think that's going to be a fun one.
Rate these here. I have to put the poll up for everybody to give us
please.
level. But rank these from 1 to 4.
All right. Bedlam 1. Kentucky, Louisville 2. Louisville. A&M, LSU 3. Clemson, South Carolina, which I still think is interesting, with South Carolina playing with some life, but Clemson playing with perhaps a little bit more life. I have them at 4. But folks, Kentucky, Louisville. People might look at this, this is a basketball matchup, whatever. There is no love lost between these two teams, Kentucky, Louisville. I think ultimately the spark of Malik Cunningham, the way the defense has very quietly improved this year. I don't love Kentucky's secondary. I think that's an especially inconvenient matchup for the Cats going up against the way Louisville's been throwing the ball. I'm going with the Cardinals here. But, toss up, no love lost between these two, Ty. What about you? What is your ranking?
I mean, it's Bedlam.
Bedlam, of course.
Bedlam. Oklahoma is a 3.5 point dog in that game, which I want to talk to Travis about momentarily. I know he's got some thoughts on where Oklahoma's offense has been the last few weeks. A&M LSU, whatever. I'm interested.
I'm interested in there, Ty.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how much fight LSU's got in them. Last game of the year. A&M obviously playing to close out the season strong. Clemson at South Carolina, I don't get that point spread at all. I think Clemson might destroy South Carolina. South Carolina's offense is objectively bad. It is objectively bad. They beat Auburn. They play really hard for Shane Beamer. I'm sure Virginia Tech wants Shane Beamer. I'm certain they want Shane Beamer. But
you say South Carolina's offense is objectively bad. They are starting a janitor from the Yukon region. At quarterback.
And they're bowl eligible.
The janitor has a peg leg. I know. I get it. But he can scoot.
Listen.
Yeah.
What Shane Beamer has done has been nothing short of remarkable. The schedule that they had in front of them at the start of the year was ridiculous. The fact that they're bowl eligible, the fact that they beat Auburn.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the point spread in this game isn't higher than 11.5. That's all like a testament to what Beamer has done. The offense still does stink. It stinks. It's not good. And going up against a really good Clemson defense, I don't know how they score. So I know I didn't rank them. For me, it's Bedlam and then everything else.
I hear you. No, yeah, everything's right. I'm fantasizing about who might be starting for South Carolina because that's the game.
Okay.
Listen. Sure. Are they starting an adjunct math professor at defensive tackle? Is he only like the 9th most athletic adjunct math professor at South Carolina? Yes. But his get off is pretty good.
He knows differentials. He knows them.
It's 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing. Yeah. All right. Do you have a Jack Fowler rating for the evening slate? I'm at 3.
I'm at 4.
Just on the strength of Bedlam alone.
Yeah. And it looks like the community is at 4 as well. A third of our community out there watching today.
Okay.
Is at 33 4 Jack Fowlers. Yeah.
4. I'm going bowling, and so I will be monitoring Bedlam via TV there or on my phone, and I'll catch up on the other because it is a friend's birthday. He's a Michigan fan, and I was invited, and I was told he's going to be sad, as he always is.
When you bowl, are you one of those guys that just gets like creative and tries to put a lot of side spin on it, and you throw your shoulder out? Are you throwing it as hard as possible?
Right.
Do you pick like the heaviest bowling ball and try to gun it down? Do you go light ball so you have more control? What is your strat?
Glad you asked. 14 pounder is generally my arena in terms of weights. Fingers go.
Do you pick the ball that looks like Utah's helmets from a week ago?
Oh, I would love to. Yes, absolutely. I would. Okay. Ideal world, I would love an Ernie McCracken ball from the movie Kingpin
with the rose in it.
Inside. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't do the palm hold and launch with spin. I don't do that. I will enter the bowling ball. I will penetrate the bowling ball with my digits. And I just aim between the second and third. I'm a righty. I aim from the right, the second and third diamonds. And generally that gets me in the vicinity of the middle. I throw it with some pace and I hope for the best. And I'm just, 180 down the fairway. That's what I'm looking for with
so over under.
Yeah.
Per Vegas is 172 for your first game.
172?
Yeah.
Way under. If I'm 150 adjacent, I'm thrilled. 172.
Maybe you catch a heater. I don't know. Maybe you'll be feeling yourself after the Oregon State game.
That's true. You want to get into some? Let's hit Travis. Yes,
Travis is waiting.
Yeah,
let's bring him on.
All right, our buddy Travis does sneaky stats. Am I right in naming that?
You are correct. Sneaky stats on solidverbal.com. Travis, where's he at?
There he is. He's got a bunch of jacked Fowlers on his face, as you were just talking before we started. Speaking of fantasies, Ty. Okay, there he is. Travis May, sneaky stats early in the week. Give us some numbers. First of all, how you doing? Your hair looks impeccable.
Thank you. That's what I was going for this morning. That's what I was fishing for.
Look at this. No accident here. A perfect teepee of hair atop your head. Give me some numbers. Give me some numbers for people to pay attention to. That'll give context to today's matchups.
Well, first off, I think it could just be sneaky stats Saturday. I mean, you guys were really beating around the bush. I thought that was going to be the segue into me joining you on the show. But completely
we're off our game. It's late in the season. Yeah.
But no, I think a few of the things that I dove into this week in the sneaky stats, one of which you pitched to this idea, Ty, was that Oklahoma, they've completely dropped off the face of the planet in terms of offensive efficiency in the last couple weeks, especially. And that is very much so on Caleb Williams, because he was averaging seriously over 10 yards per pass attempt for his first 4 games. And then, of course, he dropped off the face of the planet and is not even reaching 50% completion rate at this point, which is terrible. And he's thrown 1 touchdown to, I think, 3 interceptions in the past 2 weeks, which is not great. I think if I check my notes, that confirms that is not great.
Nope.
And so that's going to be a problem. And it made sense, though, right, that they were smashing the defenses that they were, like, especially in retrospect, like looking back on the 4 defenses that he crushed we're like outside the top 100
Mhm.
in terms
Yeah.
of most efficiency metrics. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how well they do against a top 5 defense in Oklahoma State. I don't think it's going to get any easier this week for the Sooners.
Who are you picking in that game?
I'm going to actually pick. I can't pick the Sooners. I'm going to pick the Pokes. They're just too good on defense. Trusting Spencer Sanders, I think anybody can attest.
It's difficult.
And say that. Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
really
it's
hard.
going to be? I mean, do you see it as like a comfortable Oklahoma State win, or obviously, what's the tenor of the matchup?
Honestly, I'm not sure how many offensive points we're going to see out of the Sooners. Like even last week in their win, they had three offensive touchdowns. They had the one defensive touchdown. They could move the ball against Iowa State, and Iowa State's been decent, but they're not Oklahoma State's defense. Oklahoma State has gotten after the passer. They've got a fantastic defensive quarterback mind in Malcolm Rodriguez, who's just dominated all season long. He's going to end up getting drafted next spring for sure. They have a lot to be worried about. And so I don't think they're going to put up more than 3 offensive touchdowns this week. And I think they might struggle to get to that. So I think it's comfortably Oklahoma State.
Any metrics, any numbers that have you thinking the conversation about a specific matchup is significantly off, that we are ignoring this obvious way that a team or 2 teams playing against each other have been playing of late when you look at today's slate?
I think just looking at the Wisconsin versus Minnesota matchup, which is not the hottest matchup, I'm sure, to a lot of people, but I really love ugly football apparently, but I really do love Braylon Allen, the true freshman monster for Wisconsin. He's been lights out, like just absolutely dominant. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can stop him. He's 7 weeks in a row with over 100 rushing yards. And a quick trivia question for you guys, but when was the last time a true freshman running back for Wisconsin had 7 weeks in a row of 100 yards or more on the ground?
I mean, Melgore, was it? I mean, JTT. What was JTT doing as a freshman? He played early. Who was it?
Trick question. It's never happened before.
Oh,
in fact, the last time it happened, even 6 weeks in a row for a true freshman, was 2001. So it's absurd that a 17-year-old is 6'2", 240 pounds, just dominating the Big Ten. And yes, Minnesota is barely top 25 in terms of rush defense efficiency, but I'm not trusting them to really hold up against Braylon Allen. So I think the line's around a touchdown. I would go all the way to 9.5 or 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dan, why don't I flash up here my picks?
Settle.
We can get Travis's view on this.
Yeah.
Travis, take a look. So these are my picks. Now, okay. The first 2, I realize the first 2 were not part of this stream. So if you want to call BS, you can. That's fine. That's fine. I'm being an honest broker here. For people who listen to the podcast, you know that I was on, both Dan and I were on Wazoo and Iowa.
True.
So that's not any big surprise. Last week was not a good week, but we're off to a good start so far.
That's what that Iowa-Nebraska game closed at?
That's what I got it at.
Oh, how did you do that?
And I think it may have also closed around there. It was jumping around a fair amount.
I saw, because when we previewed the show, it was right around a field goal.
Yeah.
Nebraska being favored. Yeah.
I am on Wisconsin. I'm with you, Travis. I have trouble with Minnesota. It's well documented at this point. I think I said it the last 15 shows we've done, but I just feel like they've gotten better, and Braylon Allen is a force with which to be reckoned. I'm on Illinois against Northwestern. I think Northwestern's awful. And if the best thing you can say about Illinois is that they're plucky and they play with a pulse, that's probably good enough to cover 7 against Northwestern.
Plucky with a pulse.
And then the final game is the Clemson-South Carolina game. I just don't know how Carolina's scoring points in that game. That's what confounds me, why that line is not higher. I actually think it came down. It's around 10. So, obviously you can't get the first 2 if you're watching at home, but those next 3 I feel very, very confident in. What do you feel? How do you feel about those?
I'm going to be a little boring and kind of agree with you because, man,
Oh,
sorry. I mean, but I love
okay.
the plucky with a pulse idea. But seriously, Northwestern is around 120th against the run, and Illinois can only run. So maybe they just go all out and try to stop the run and have success for the first time this entire season. But I don't think that happens. I think Chase Brown's going to go absolutely bonkers, and it's not going to be close again because this Northwestern team is not the Northwestern teams that we have come to love in the past few years that just finds a way to win. They find ways to lose big and embarrassingly. So I'm right there with you. And with Clemson, that 11 and a half, yes, earlier in the season, they struggled to score. They were against their first 5 Power 5 opponents. They couldn't even average 20 points per game, which is embarrassing for any offense. But in the last 3 games against Power 5 opponents, they've scored an average of 38 points, improving by almost 20 points per game in the last 3 weeks. DJU has actually not looked absolutely terrible. He's improved. He's actually throwing more touchdowns than interceptions now, which is bravo. Hey, There we go. So I'm right there with you, especially on those games. So yeah, we're on the same page, Shai. We should come together more often.
All right, this is good. Making
Travis,
me feel better about these picks.
Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the games ahead, and everybody look at Sneaky Stats each week during the season, where the context is great. The context is fantastic on solidverbal.com. Travis May, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care, man.
All right, Ty. Let's
do it.
Questions. We've got all sorts of answers. I don't know. What do you want to do?
We've got here. Hold on. I need to show this.
Why don't you take control? Look at this. Look at that.
I believe that's the euro sign there.
Wait, so are we doing better than 20? Is that what I'm thinking here?
I think the exchange rate is working in our favor there.
I'm looking this up.
Talk O Nation has listened to us for years. Thanks for the laughs, fellas. Go Bucks. Thank you.
$22 and change.
Wow.
Holy hell. We're
gonna be rich. Thank you, sir, madam. We appreciate.
I guess we're an Ohio State podcast now. We can be bought. We can be purchased.
We absolutely can.
Eat the Terminators live on the air. I think that's what the giant burger in Columbus is called.
All right, what do we got here? Jen says, all the verballers here should hit the like button. I don't get anything out of it, but Dan and Ty do. Thank you, Jen. We appreciate that very, very much. What else do we got here? Ty did not take the bowling class at Penn State. I did not.
Have you ever been in a league?
No.
Why not?
I like bowling.
As do I. You're with humans you like, generally. There are snacks available. Some people call, what is it? Top golf? What is the golf one where you go to driving range and they serve snacks and it's like a social thing. It's the original Top Golf. And so I have a great time with bowling. I don't need the fancy like laser shows and glow in the dark. I just want lanes. I want seasoned fries and I want some pals. I think it's great.
The worst thing that they ever did with bowling technology was put the speedometer on it.
Oh, is that a thing now?
It's a thing now because if you're at any bowling lane in the last 25 years, they've upgraded technology a little bit, right? You're not keeping track of the frames on pen and pencil anymore, or paper and pencil anymore.
Right.
But a lot of places now they have the speed gun at how hard you throw the ball down the alley. And that's where you could take out some frustration. That's the speed pitch equivalent for bowling. And it doesn't make you any more accurate, but it is kind of fun to play along at home.
Ty, what's your bowling food order? Fries or O-rings?
I probably go fries.
Yeah, as do I. Fries well done. The seasoned fries, if there's a Cajun season, a regular seasoned fries, I'll ask for, I don't know, barbecue sauce, maybe some Thousand Island to dip in. I love that stuff. What is the correct small screen game to watch during the night window, Ty?
Well, per our solid slate.
Yeah, Connor.
I believe he's got the Bedlam game as the one to watch on the big screen. Obviously, I'm pulling this up now. He's probably going to beat me to the punch because I know he's watching.
Yeah, but small screen is what? Are you going Kentucky Louisville? Are you going? What are you doing?
I am. So he's got A&M LSU.
Yeah,
on
there's
his-
intrigue there because the sicko potential is pretty high.
Yeah, I think I'm probably most inclined to go Kentucky Louisville if it's me.
Okay, sure.
Louisville was favored in that game, which kind of surprised me.
They've been playing well of late.
They've been playing well. That surprised me. I think that game has potential to be the most fun. I could definitely see A&M LSU being big dumb football and just teams crashing into each other. So,
Do you have the breaking news sound at your stead at your?
if you give me a second, I can do it.
Take a second. I got double breaking news. Double breaking news here, folks.
All right, hold on.
I'm ready. I'm ready to hold. I'm holding.
Here we go. We have where's it at? Breaking news. Breaking news.
It's snowing in Ann Arbor.
Okay, nice.
Okay, which is, if you're scared of somebody throwing all over you, throw in some flakes and flurries.
I love it.
Throw in some flakes and flurries. Also, breaking news: my wife is getting us burritos for the big game. Ty, text me your order if you can get here in time. Got a pretty good place. I think we're going chicken tinga. And drop your orders. Drop your orders in the comments. My wife will do her best. Drop your orders in the comments. We're having this spicy burrito Saturday.
There you go.
Here in the
Dustin
Midwest.
asking about Run the Board. For those who are wondering what's Run the Board, Run the Board is our Patreon only pick'em game.
That's true.
Run the Board has 2 more weeks left. It has this week and his conference championship week. We've been doing 10 games per week, and there are 10 more games next week.
Yeah.
So this week and next week, Dustin, but a fair question.
Carne asada all day. I hear you. I'm with you. This place's asada, it's fine. It's fine. The tinga is more consistent, so that's the direction I go in. But yes, asada for sure has a higher ceiling. I just think tinga has a higher floor, and I've tried it. I've tried various protein options here. I think tinga is the move. So sue me. I don't know. Anything else, Ty? Any closing thoughts? Any closing notes? What are you eating today? How are you feeling after Thanksgiving? All I can tell you with Thanksgiving was it was sort of a potluck situation, and I don't think I'm on the same page with other participants in terms of flavors, in terms of choices. We all make choices, and
I see you as being an overly critical Thanksgiving guest, not of the people, but of the food.
Not there. After the fact, I love a good debrief after an event.
You were critical of the food at my wedding.
Not critical, Ty. I wasn't critical because the problem with wedding food is your hands are tied. Right? Like you had your reception at a restaurant, right?
I did.
It's like a restaurant event space. It was very nice. I had a great time. And I thought the food was good. I don't even remember. It was so long ago now. Now that you're a 40-year-old, I can't remember that far back. We're talking 5-6 years ago.
Message in the bottle. Yeah.
I just remember having a great time and all of your relatives asking me about Marcus Mariota and the Eagles or the Giants and who was going to draft him. My note is that I think people get lazy as they get older and they forget. They stop chopping garlic and just putting in granulated garlic, and they're like, it doesn't need that much salt. They doubt recipes. They start freewheeling in unconstructive ways when it comes. Like I think a lot of cooking is about effort and intuition and caring and being thorough, and a lot of people just aren't. People don't care. They have their lives, whereas my life is at least a chunk of is cooking, is experimenting, is flavor profiles. That's such a pretentious thing to say, flavor profiles. And I throw myself into a situation like that, and I don't think everybody does.
And folks, this metaphor for the Dan Mullen era at Florida was brought to you by the Solid Verbal. Don't forget to click on the link down below, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate everybody stopping by for Solid Saturday. Big day of rivalry games. Big game now about to kick off on ABC. Go on over, watch the Michigan-Ohio State game where maybe it's snowing. Come on back. We're going to do our recap show on Monday. For the public, if you want to get access to that earlier, you can do so by going to verballers.com. Sign up to be part of our Patreon community. Don't forget to give a call, 408-VERBAL, 1408 Verbal One is our reverb line. We'll play your messages back on the recap show. That's all I got, Dan.
I have
some football.
All right, let's do it. Thanks everybody for watching. Get your burritos orders in. See you soon.